Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring, and the latest entry in my series Stick to the Script, where I review board games working from a script. This time we're taking a look at the 2009 edition of Games Workshop's Space Hulk, working from a heavily edited version of the written review originally published on my blog. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing at the end of the video. In my youth, a hazy period of time that was longer ago than I like to think it was, I owned a lot of Games Workshop games, or games produced in association with Games Workshop. I had Hero Quest, Advanced Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest, Space Crusade, Advanced Space Crusade, Necromunda, Talisman, Battle Masters, Blood Bowl, a lot of the stuff you see on my channel all the time now. But one of the games I never owned was Space Hulk. That may seem unusual, considering how highly regarded the game is, but there you have it. I think the reason I never really wanted it was because it seemed less colourful and varied than the other games I liked. To 10-year-old me, all the Terminators looked pretty much the same, and they trudged through very similar looking grey corridors shooting a bunch of identical aliens. How could that possibly be fun? But as I grew older, I grew wiser. I started to realise that Space Hulk is a work of genius. Yes, I said genius. It is a lean, muscular game with a stripped-back design that exposes all the bloody guts of the thing and makes you root around in the filth and bile. It is a visceral, atmospheric experience that wrings the maximum amount of tension from just a handful of game mechanisms. Some might say it's an elegant design. It's not. It's about as elegant as a punch in the face from a drunk on a night out. It's immediate and impactful. It gets the job done without fuss or hesitation, and it doesn't care if things get a little bit messy in the process. Thematically, it is everything you could want from a science fiction game. Hundreds of wrecked spacecraft have fused together over time to create a floating mass of metal infested with alien life forms that scurry through the husk like vermin. A group of Terminator Space Marines infiltrate the wreck in order to exterminate the aliens, and most importantly, retrieve lost honor. The theme sets the bar high, and the game lives up to it in most ways. You create a maze of brutally narrow tunnels with modular board pieces. You grab a pitifully small group of Terminator Space Marines with woefully inadequate weapons, and then you start your mission. Your Terminators are slow. Really slow. They have limited action points, and by limited I mean not enough, ever. When turning to your left or right costs you one of your 4 actions, getting anywhere with any kind of speed is arduous and difficult, and making a bad move that costs you several actions to rectify could be fatal. But why would you make a bad move? Because you're on a timer, that's why. At the start of your turn, the timer flips, and then you flip. Your rational brain turns to mush. Your best laid plans suddenly seem impossible to execute. Even rolling the dice takes too long. So you scramble to get things done, desperately trying to move up to 10 Marines, setting up firing arcs, covering routes where you expect enemies to appear, advancing as far as you dare, while the sands drain away inexorably. You form your squad into single file, and then push into the claustrophobic tunnel ahead. Here there is no room to manoeuvre. You have to continue, or you have to fall back. If you have placed the wrong Marine at the front of the line, it's game over. If you didn't leave a Marine defending your rear, it's game over. You made your decision fast, under pressure, and now you watch in agony as your slow Marines plod through the motions, revealing too late, always too late, that you have just made a bad call. Your Marine with the flamethrower doesn't have line of sight because he's not at the front of the line. Your Sergeant doesn't have enough command points left to defend himself. The Marine at the back? Well, you never liked him anyway. And now your opponent, who is playing the Genestealer aliens that infest this ship, places a small cardboard token on the board. A blip. A small round counter representing the readout on your Marine's motion scanners. A small round counter that could be a single alien scurrying to hide, or a swarm of aliens in a tightly packed mass waiting to turn your Marines into confetti. Horrible, meaty confetti. Your opponent places one, then another, and another. Suddenly the board seems too small and the enemy are too many. One of the blips is right there, only a few spaces from your smorgasbord of Marines who are just waiting to get peeled out of their armour like crab meat. But it's okay. You're okay. It's fine. You put one of your Marines in that corridor and you used 2 of his valuable action points to put him in Overwatch. That means his bolter gun is loaded and ready, and if anything moves in his line of sight, he gets to take 3 shots at it. No worries. Your opponent flips the blip to reveal a swarm of Genestealers, and they spill into the narrow corridor. They move faster than the Marines, much faster. They get 6 action points each, and they get to make 3 90-degree turns as they advance, allowing them to dart through the maze at terrifying speed. Your Marine fires his bolter. You roll 2 dice. You need at least 1 6 to kill the Genestealer, but you roll double 3. You miss. Even worse, the bolter jams when you roll doubles. Your Marine frantically tries to unjam his gun. His scream echoes through the corridors. But the rest of the team push on. They must push on. There is honour at stake. And their lives. And if that sounds like something you would enjoy, what the heck is wrong with you? But more importantly, you need to cross your fingers and hope Games Workshop reprints this game, or else head to eBay to pick yourself up a pre-loved, or perhaps pre-hated copy. Simply put, Space Hulk is one of the most streamlined and exciting recreations of claustrophobic interstellar combat against an unknowable, unfathomable, unstoppable, uncountable alien menace. The fact the 3rd and indeed 4th edition is one of the most beautifully produced games I've ever seen, with astounding artwork, thick cardboard tiles and tokens, and stunning plastic miniatures, is really just the icing on the cake. The big, bloody, meaty cake. But wait. There has to be a downside, right? Space Hulk does indeed have faults. A few actually, perhaps even deal breakers. Obviously, you have to assemble, maybe even paint the miniatures. This pretty much goes without saying for a Games Workshop product. Fortunately, the models are push-fit and go together without glue, and they're cast in coloured plastic, so even without a lick of paint they still look incredible. While the miniatures are fantastic, they are also a bit cumbersome to use at times. For example, it's essential to know which direction miniatures are facing, but with the dynamic poses of the Marines, this isn't always easy. The Genestealers might bother some people too. In older editions of Space Hulk, the Genestealers tended to get their limbs tangled up during play. This time around, Games Workshop tried to minimise that problem by sculpting the Genestealers at different heights and in different poses. Some of them are towering over the board on pillars, while others are bursting up through the floor. I think that's neat, but some people may not like the look of a Genestealer running around dragging a piece of the ship with it. And to be fair, some of the Genestealer miniatures are a bit wacky. 4 of them have bad sculpts as they only have 3 arms instead of 4, not the kind of thing I expect from Games Workshop. Speaking of Genestealers, in my personal opinion, playing as the aliens isn't anywhere near as fun as playing as the Marines. It's enjoyable enough figuring out when to reveal blips, amassing your troops and then watching the Marine player panic. However, I can't really deny that the Marine player has more to do and more to stress about, and is probably going to have a more engaging experience. But I suppose the biggest fault is that while the core engine of the game is truly superb, the bits around it are often slapped on by Games Workshop with the chaotic wild abandon of a frenzied mech boy throwing together a new gun for a very big boss on a very short deadline. The result is a devastatingly brilliant, intensely violent wonder of monstrous genius, and when everything is working as intended, you're in for quite a show. But sometimes it might blow up. And when it does, you're going to have a bad time for all the wrong reasons. It's the scenario design that creates the potential for a catastrophic failure. Some of the scenarios are completely one-sided, making them a real challenge for one player. One of them is basically broken, making it impossible for the Marine player to lose, and in some scenarios the Genestealers are forced to simply feed bodies into the meat grinder until a weapon fails and they get their chance to do some damage. This makes it almost essential to swap sides after playing, so the other player gets to see what it's like when the shoe is on the other foot. But, ultimately, those moments when the scenarios collapse, those are like dead terminators. They're acceptable losses. Because when everything clicks, and you unjam your bolter, the dice are rolling, the sand in the timer is draining away the seconds until your Marines enter a world of hurt, when that happens, you aren't going to be thinking about that time when things didn't work out. You're in the moment, in the game. You're having a truly exciting, immersive, memorable experience. And that's all that matters.